Hello, beautiful people and beautiful Ginger. You have something in your eye? Is that your
No,
eyeball?
no, I
Okay, good.
just
Okay.
watery. Just watery, like
Just
always.
watery. All right, guys, guess what? We are going to do the last and third part of our interview of Adolf Hitler. Do I need to read his backstory to you guys? I don't think so. Anyway, I did read the backstory in the first two parts, so you can go back to part one and part two if you like. If you want to find out more about Ginger, who does so many things, exercise, nutrition, channeling, all sorts of stuff, then go to the description box and we'll also put it on the screen. Ginger, did I get something that you have something new coming up here? A new sale?
Oh yes. Oh, did you get that? Yeah, I just started the fall sale. The fall
All
sale just
right.
started. Yeah. And you know what? I kind of want to say that to let people know this, I never say this, but to let people know that I know that my schedule a lot of the times is scheduled out a month or so, a couple
Yeah.
months. So just to let you know that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have to wait. Just let me know,
Yeah.
if maybe you're wanting in sooner or something, because not everybody does. Some people are okay with it. And I can let you know when things open up, because people
Yeah.
do reschedule,
Yeah, of
and
course.
things open. So I just want to let people know that. Yeah.
Especially if you have
Yeah.
urgent needs too, probably, right?
Right. Right.
Right.
Right. And I do try to make sure I can get that situation, if we're in that kind of situation with somebody, in as soon as possible.
Okay.
So
All right. And we also have
yeah.
Erik. Erik, hi, my lovely boy living in the afterlife. Did you bring Hitler with you today?
Yeah, he's saying hi, Mama, I love you.
Love you.
And Hitler's right there next to him. Kind of same as last time. Very just like straight face, not a lot of expression at all. Still in the same thing he was wearing last time. It's like a gray type suit. It just looks like a suit, old style suit. But he's just kind of sitting there. And he says hello. He goes,
Hello,
hello,
back. Thank you
hello.
for coming back. You to get yourself heard, I guess. So, Hitler,
Yes.
what do you think about Klaus Schwab and what he's doing to humanity right now? I don't even know who is that. Maybe it's a German prime minister. I don't know.
Uh, Let me see what he says here.
I should know these things.
I don't either. I don't either. But let's see what he says. He says something about this not being this person that you asked about is something with I'm not sure, like, about like how things work like this in governments, like, different ways that they do things. But he's showing something like this person has like the mind, kind of like he did in like a world kind of
Okay.
economy or a world order or something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
um but what he says is this is temporary. This person
Okay.
is not going to be in the position he's in
Okay.
for long. But now I also want to say, because he's going, I don't have a lot of opinions. Like, he's not giving opinions about
Okay.
what's going on right now, because what he sees, a lot of things are from spiritual point of view,
Yeah.
but he can give it from a Hitler point of view, but it's not always going to be the nicest. He
Okay.
just said,
Mm.
yeah, but
Okay.
he will, if it's asked, he
Yeah.
will.
Hitler, were you possessed in some way or just utterly disconnected from source and inner love? By the way, these are all from our community. These questions.
He was not possessed. He he said he says he had what you would call a God complex. And the more power he received, and the more powerful he became, the bigger that got. Big ego. And something he wants to say is, a lot of times people will look at, like, how could you just go on and live a life, your normal life, and not feel bad about what you do. And he wasn't wired that way, he said, for reasons, spiritual reasons, but he
Yeah.
also, because of environment and growing up and who he was. So it was both spiritual and environmental, I guess. But he wasn't wired in that way. He didn't have a lot of feeling, like he didn't feel things like empathy.
Was
He
he
didn't
on
have a
the
lot of
spectrum?
empathy.
Or like Asperger's?
No,
Okay.
no, he just did not have, and he, okay, Erik is saying this has something to do with what his purpose was while he was here. The only way to do what he was supposed to do while he was here was to not have that, empathy or a way to feel, bad about something. So it was almost like he, and then Hiller, he's going, it was kind of like, if you want to think about kind of running like on a robot kind of mind in a way, but then you also have that ego that's running you kind of thing.
Okay.
If that makes
So it
sense.
almost sounds like you have reptilian roots. Do you have any sort of alien roots?
Yeah. He said yes. He said yes.
Oh, right.
Yes.
I
Yes.
channeled that. Were you part of any secret societies or cults? I think you
He
did
was.
Kabbalism, what do you call it? Or something. I don't know. Some
Yeah, he's saying yes. He's saying yes to this. He is. He's saying yes. He's only given me one though, just one that he's a part of. Yeah, and
you don't have to give the name.
Sounds like something what you were saying. Whatever you were saying, Elisa, it kind of sounds like that because he said
Jewish mysticism. That's really odd, isn't it?
Well, it's not that. It's not that. It starts with a K though. It has like a K to it or something.
Okay. All right.
Well,
was it benevolent or was it like satanic? That's all I need to know.
It was about power. Okay. It was more about power and numbers. It was about the more people you have behind you. It was networking, that type of thing. But it wasn't satanic. No.
All right.
No.
Were you groomed or did you rise to power by yourself?
But what was the first part?
Were you groomed into power?
Oh.
Or did you rise to power by yourself?
He would say that he had people that backed him up. So it's not so much he rose by himself, but not groomed either, really.
Encouraged, facilitated.
Yeah. It was more so a product of just who he was and things he went through growing up and wanting that control and wanting that power and thinking I can do it better than anybody else and this way and that. And he goes, I was very good at convincing people. Is what he's saying. He's like, I was very good at convincing people. I could make it better. Follow me,
including the masses with your ranting speeches.
Yeah.
Were you an addict or a user or neither?
Both. He said both.
What were you addicted to mostly?
He shows me things that he did to stay awake. So upper.
Oh, it sounded like he was on uppers during his speeches, so I wouldn't.
He's showing uppers. He did sometimes, drink. He drank some, but it was mostly things to keep him up, and he just liked that feeling. I'm kind of feeling like too. He's going like something with his mind. Let me see what he's saying here. Okay, so he's talking about not having an endorphin, like the normal endorphins, like we do. But he more said it like the chemistry, but Erik is saying endorphins, is what he means. So this made him feel bulletproof, he just said, okay, and untouchable, and it just made him feel good.
All right. What were your motives? I mean, did you have a clear vision or were you just confused and mentally ill?
Oh, he had a vision. He's saying, I had a vision. Most of the motives were about what he thought the human race should be.
Okay.
He's
Creating
saying,
the perfect
yes,
human
yes.
race.
And then also to rule more than one country, of course. He wanted like a world order type thing eventually. These were all his goals
Yeah.
and his visions. And whatever it took to get there. He's like, I didn't care who I killed or walked over, even people that were close to him.
No. All right. Did you ever feel remorse or like regret after giving orders to kill someone? And did you ever kill someone yourself personally, or did you just order people?
He says no, not himself, but he has. He showed me that when he was younger, that he would hurt animals.
Mm.
He had killed animals. But he's saying that no, no remorse because it was the job.
Yeah.
And he just said it just like that. It was the job. Kind of like it was what needed to be done.
Sounds
He
like
looked
you're a
at,
serial killer. Do you have the
well,
mentality?
he kind of, he's saying, he says, yes, he says like, as in not having that empathy and just having your thoughts, focused on what the outcome, what you wanted and what it took to get there. You didn't really worry about like how it affected others. He just said.
So you're like a psychopath or sociopath. I can't remember which is which. I think psychopath is worse. Right. So,
yeah.
did
He
you
said
lack
yes.
love in your childhood?
Did
Or
what?
lack love in your childhood? Or did you suffer some sort of trauma or abuse during childhood? Neglect, sense of abandonment,
So yeah, sense
trauma.
of abandonment was one of them. He's talking about when his mother died. A lot of things changed then when his mother died. That was the only person that really showed affection towards him. But he didn't get a lot of love. No. After that.
Yeah.
And even with her, it was he knew that she, loved him. And cared about him, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't extreme, like where she doted over him or anything. It wasn't that kind of thing. But besides that, nobody else. And again, he's saying I didn't have the capacity for that anyway.
Oh yeah.
Even as a younger boy, he didn't have that capacity to feel it.
Yeah. All right. What level or frequency or vibration did you go to when you crossed over? And what is that?
So I think I remember us talking about in the first one, but he's talking about the vibration changes for everybody when they leave this physical body, and it is increased, but what he shows me is he went in directly into this darkness.
Like Erik.
Yeah. And it was the healing that he needed. And I know that, there's going to be people out there like, what, healing for him, kind of thing. But if you take all souls, if you understand what it is to be a soul, it's not the same with the ego. Everybody is, they're not that way on the other side. There's not like bad guys on, I guess, per se, unless, there are lower level entities, yes. Okay. Sure. But they're different beings, and they're needed for the whole spectrum. So he's saying that he went into this darkness, and it was a lot longer than the average, even though there's no time, but for our point of view, it was a while, like a year or two, something like that.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. A long time.
What past life affected your life as Hitler and your hatred for Jews?
So that's not, he doesn't have one past life that made him do this in this life.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But he has had, and I want to jump to this first. He's showing me a future life where, because I think this is kind of interesting, where, and now again, we choose. Eric's like, remember, we choose to go through certain things. We're not forced to, have karmic debts paid. We choose to experience it. But he's showing me that he's this child that has a disease where, almost like Stephen Hawking,
Oh,
Eric is saying,
yeah.
that kind of thing, where
Lou Gehrig?
he eventually can't, yeah, something like that. It's not that, but it's something similar,
A
where
neurodegenerative thing, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes, where his mind works very well, okay, but his body does not work. And it's very
Mhm.
torturous for him in this life.
Yeah.
And he's not saying that he went and did that to be tortured because of what he did, but he did. Part of it was, like, he's not
Okay.
saying it's all because of that, but part of it was because he wants to experience the other side of it.
Yeah.
Now he's showing me a past life where he was a slave.
Hmm.
Like, and he's showing this, like, back in it's like Egypt
Oh,
era
I
two,
knew it.
or before
Wow.
ice, yeah. Where he was uh, treated bad, a slave. He was tortured a lot. Now, again, he's saying that didn't make me come into this life and be Hitler, but it's different lives where there were opposite effects.
Right.
And it's usually what it's about is switching. But this one was a very particular choice that he came in to
To
do.
teach the collective, right?
Right. And to make big changes. Okay.
Big
Uh,
changes. He was a catalyst of sorts,
right.
just like
Right.
Jesus was and Buddha and all that.
So he's saying too, and I'm not sure if this was a question before or if it's going to come up, but he's talking about, he's saying that he did have a somewhat of a life review, not the same as a lot of us do, because he didn't do a life review for what, a lot of what went on with him as Hitler and killing
Yeah.
people as the Jews and stuff. He's saying that this was things just in his personal life, because he wasn't very, he was a nice person to some people, but he still, yeah, he
Yeah.
still was very a narcissistic
Yeah.
personality. um and about him, it was always about him, all about him. So he did have to go through some reverses, as in
Yeah.
seeing and feeling what others went through. He also, that's interesting. So he just said that that's also in that healing, okay, when he first came out, he did have to go through and see what the people went through.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
not so much he felt it in that depth you would like with a regular life review, but
Right.
that was a process he did go through. He
Okay.
chose to go through that, to
Yeah.
feel that, because there is growth in that.
Of course.
Yes.
Uh, did you have one or more incarnations in Atlantis? If so, what role did you have?
He's saying yes. He's saying yes to that.
Huh.
Oh, he's showing me like a very short-lived life there.
Oh,
Very short-lived life. He almost shows me like where he worked on like building things, like almost
okay.
like a, I don't know, I don't understand what this is, but it's like building
Okay.
structures that they had. And he fell off, and or something hit him,
Okay.
and he died in an accident of that. But he
Uh-huh.
wasn't there. It was a very short life. He was a young
Okay.
adult. Yeah.
So, were you an Atlantean or one of the aliens that hung out in Atlantis?
Atlantean. He
Okay.
says Atlantean. Yeah.
Have you reincarnated?
From a human point of view, no.
Okay.
From a human point of view, no. But of course, again, spiritual point of view, we're already there. But
Oh,
that's
that's
so
true.
woo. That's so whoa. Like my head's just like
But are you here?
comprehension.
Are you living in the same life Ginger and I are living in?
No,
Period?
no. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope. Nope.
All right. How can we raise our children to connect more to their inner guidance and universal love to sort of prevent any new tyrannical personalities from developing? Give them love, teach them to love themselves, I guess, right?
Yeah. So Eric's going to answer this. Okay.
Thank you, Erik.
Eric's going to answer this. Because he went like this. He kind of looked like that at Erik. And then Erik goes, I'll answer it. So there is a journey we all have, Erik's saying. Okay. And you can't stop what is fate. There are, of course, free will choices that change our path and how things maybe will last or how quick it'll happen, or how hard it'll be. And some things, will happen or won't happen, but not the things that are set, like the fate that we chose to go through so much. So, the best thing you can do, Erik is saying, you raise them with understanding.
Okay, I got to pause.
All right. Somebody at the door.
Okay, you get it? Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Raise them with like an unconditional love and understanding, and try not to judge. Try to see where behavior is coming from instead of judging the behavior. See where it's coming from, and know that also it's their journey.
Oh,
he says.
Oh, I have to pause. Yeah.
Okay. That's okay.
Okay, sorry about that. The dreamer finished a lot earlier than I thought. So
it's okay.
Yeah.
Life. It's life. Life happens.
I know, it's life.
Can't stop it. Just like what we were talking about, Erik said, life happens. So, he wants to say that, you can also raise a child with all the love in the world and understanding.
I know.
And then if it's their journey,
contract journey, yeah.
Right. To do certain things that maybe you see as not right or not good or hard. Okay. You can't stop that, but you can be there for them and you can support them.
Of course.
And just to, treat others the way you want to be treated too. You teach them. And I know that's an old saying, but it still stands. Erik says.
Of course, it's common sense.
Yeah.
But last question, from an afterlife perspective, what is your message, Hitler, hopefully of love and peace, to the world?
Okay. Let me see here. So he says this is not going to probably sound like it would come from him. He's saying, okay. He's saying that let me try to get this right. When you work together with others, he says, and the goals that you have, I'm trying to get what he's saying here, and the goals that you have include more than yourself.
Okay.
Again, he's talking about make sure that it benefits all.
The greater good.
The greater good. And he's saying that always remember that your perspective, because this is some of the things that he learned, your perspective about things or the way you see things, it doesn't necessarily mean it's reality. Okay. He says. And just take responsibility. And this is the part people aren't gonna probably not like this, but take responsibility for your actions, because he did not. Okay. He did not, no matter the consequences, he just said. Yeah.
Okay. Erik, do you want to add anything or ask Hitler a question? Any last comments? And you too, Adolf, if you want to add anything.
So Erik is just saying that he wants people that are watching this to know that he is he understands those who don't quite see how somebody like him would not be suffering or punished you know, on their side, because it does hurt people. And he
Yeah,
wants
of
people to
course.
know, that I feel you, I hear you, and I care. But, you know, that is the way it is on the other side.
It's very
And
difficult.
right. And that, you know, he's like, and so just, you know, ask yourself, is it true? And you'll feel the answers coming through. You will.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Hitler just wants to say thank you for
That's
giving him a
what,
voice,
you're welcome.
and letting him speak.
And thank you, Ginger, for being such a good channel for both of these guys. So we're probably going to have a session on the second Trump assassination threat or attempt. I would call it a threat, not an attempt, but so are you maybe you'd be willing to do that. So can you tell us anything? Like was this a solitary thing that Ryan Ruth did? Or was someone or something else behind him?
It was solitary, but something, I'm not gonna say, I don't want to say that.
Okay, no.
Well, I mean, like Eric's wanted me to say this, but I'm just gonna say it. There's so many things that are put on the media, and this is not my opinion, everybody. Okay, this is Erik, that are put out there that gets in people's heads. And when you start calling another human being, interesting enough, Hitler, or, you know, the Antichrist, or what, and I don't know like what they are, but this is what Erik is saying. It messes with people's heads, and it
Yeah.
scares them, and fear comes in, and that doesn't make it okay to try to kill someone or take them out of the picture. But this was an individual that felt he was, you know, doing
A favor.
Favor
Yeah.
for people.
That's what I feel too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Erik. Thank you, Hitler. Thank you, Ginger. Save the best for the last. Okay. I love you all. And y'all check out
Love
her
you.
sale. I don't know if this is going to be, you know, of course it'll be done.
Yeah, it's already up. The fall
Okay,
sale's
good.
up, and yeah. So, and it'll still be going by the time this goes up. I keep them
That's
up a
good.
while.
Sounds good. So, guys, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hit the thumbs up too, please. It looks awesome.
Yes, like it.
Like it. Bye, guys. Bye, Ginger. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.